Today, Tousi TV visited Tommy Robinson in prison at Woodhill. Restrictions on Tommy as a civil offender continues, and in this live stream, I'm going to be breaking my NDA. Good evening, Britannia, and hello to the rest of the world. Welcome to Tousi TV, your global news channel. Today we had a visit. I couldn't give you guys some information properly, obviously, before today's actual visit, but it did actually happen because I thought it's probably best not to give out much information, considering it was a bit of a surprise that we managed to convince the Woodhill governor, the prison governor, to actually let me in to see Tommy. So we had a Tousi TV trip with the team, with one of our team members, and also Sammy Woodhouse, our documentary maker, who's also obviously a reporter for Rebel Media. And the three of us went to see Tommy. We went in. I was like, well, that's a bit of a surprise. We're actually going in. Then they said, here we go. Here's the form. If you want to be able to enter the gates of hell, you have to sign this gagging order, the NDA, so that you're not allowed to talk about what you discuss during your visit. So I looked at it and I thought, okay, I'm going to sign it because we're going to have to go in to see him. Went inside, saw Tommy. So I'm going to give you guys the information about any hypothetical civil offender in that situation, right? What sort of experience you could actually witness when you go to see any civil offender, right, in solitary confinement. Then my friend Tommy requested and asked me to send you guys his message. Obviously, that means breaking the NDA, the gagging order. But he's my friend, and I thought it's nice to actually do what he's saying. And he doesn't get much in his cell, in his prison every day. So I said, I'm going to take the risk. There will be consequences. I fully understand. But it's the right thing to do for someone who's done so much for this country. Now, we went in. He has officially grown a ginger jihadi beard. Yep, even though his mother is not going to be happy about this. He's got a full-on ginger jihadi beard. But that aside, the last time I visited him was a few months ago. It was still early days relatively. I think it was around October time, something like that. November, October. He was still upbeat at the time. And he still looked fresh. But I saw a different face. I saw a different side. I almost didn't recognize him. He's trying to keep up a brave face, but he didn't look healthy at all. He's lost a lot of weight. His face is wrong, neck thin, but he was still there. He wanted to make sure that obviously that the visit is productive, and he's only got that few minutes to actually just talk to somebody else, and obviously a friend. So we looked at that, and obviously there was a conversation about again, any hypothetical civil offender in a solitary confinement. What could happen to these guys? What would they go through, right? So the food situation for a civil offender in solitary confinement at a Woodhill sort of prison is that basically his diet is still on tinned fish, so tuna, mackerel, those sort of things. But he's also actually on protein powders, so protein shakes. So that's kind of, it gives him something, but it's still not really healthy. So that's the food situation. In terms of his every hour, every minute of his day, it's still 23 hours. He's stuck in a cell on his own. He's able to walk for about half an hour around a circle in a very small area outside the cell, just half an hour. His issue, there's a problem with the lack of GB News. Some of you are familiar. A while ago, we reported that GB News has been banned. He was able to watch it every now and then on a TV, but not anymore. there has been accusations, let's just say. New allegations have come out that it's not just for Tommy or a civil offender in solitary confinement. Everybody at Woodhill is now banned from watching GB News. The allegation is that the Islamic Imam has complained that GB News is anti-Islamic. So the prison has removed GB News from the whole of the prison. Nobody is allowed to watch it. This is the same GB News that's part of the regulatory body, Ofcom. It's a legal channel. It's a very mainstream channel, but it's been banned. Now, that's the situation with his entertainment, or lack of entertainment, that a civil offender would get these days. There is a message from Tommy, from this hypothetical civil offender, to give you guys. But there is a lot that we can't completely discuss, not because of any sort of NDA thing. It's mostly because of himself. But let's just say, behind closed doors, there is massive support in terms of the legal support and everything else, not just his team, but Elon Musk has played a massive role. It might not be public, it might not just be, on social media, but the support is there. Legally speaking, there is a challenge. I can't get into the details of that because obviously it could prejudice the whole outcome of it. But despite all this, we might potentially get some good news, potentially within the next few weeks, in regards to his situation, in terms of challenging the torture treatment in prison. So that is ongoing. The legal team are on top of that. Elon Musk's support, everybody else. There is going to be a massive rally once he's out. So the message I have for you guys from this hypothetical civil offender, he said, thank you to all of you for your continued support. He did say that they're trying to break me. We'll still have to fight back. He still believes that his cause was righteous, what he did. He put his hands up, saying, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, and I own it. I own up to it. Now, he also said that when I'm out, we will do the biggest freedom rally that this country has seen in a long time. But again, it's all about everything else that's going on. So, I mean, most of the discussions became just about me giving him and obviously Sammy and our other friend updates about what's going on in the outside world. There's a lot of gossip, obviously, that we need to keep him up to date with in terms of the political gossip, what's happening in this country. It's a bit of a mess. Might be actually safer to be in prison right now than on the streets. And there's a lot of issues that's happening, and he's trying to keep up to date. The problem is there's still restrictions in terms of communication. So those of you that have been trying to get in touch with him, it's not all going through. So emails, phone calls, there's still a lot of restrictions on that. If he is saying certain things in a phone conversation, they hang up the phone. There has been, again, let's just say hypothetically, a civil offender in that situation, if he sends an email and mentions the words EDL or something controversial, that email will not go through automatically. But if you make some amendments, it will filter it out. If you remove that word, it will go through. So those things still exist. And someone said in the live chat, be careful, don't risk him getting any more S for those bastards. So for the record, as I said at the beginning of the live stream, last minute, as we were going in, they got us to sign this NDA, even though I was surprised. Like, well, so they actually approved us and we're going in, everything's fine. But this is a request by him as a friend to say, send out my message so everybody knows what's going on in here. The consequences will be on me, legally speaking, not on him. So I have to face the consequences now, but I'll put my hands up. So I don't care. It's the right thing to do. He's not able to communicate with the outside world whereas extremists, terrorists, and mass murderers are able to have a better communication with the outside world when they are in prison, including phone calls. There are certain people who got banned from his contact list. He wasn't able to call them, including, by the way, his own ex-wife. He couldn't really get any updates about his son. No communication. The whole thing was banned. This isn't fair. So I thought it's best to take the risk myself and do the right thing, whatever the legal consequences after this. He might not be out. His message will get out. Let's get some reaction while you're here, ladies and gentlemen. AFC Manicure, thank you so much, saying, is he able to get and order a DAB radio from the prison-approved catalogue when the TV is rubbish? It's a lifesaver. There's like restriction on radio as well in terms of just timing. If you're at the so-called gym, it's not really a gym, it's a small room like this size, a couple of things, then there's a radio there, obviously. But that's only for a few minutes. Stu says, they know he will be out soon, so trying to break him now. Just wait for the big update in a few weeks, guys. Katie says, did you get Tommy food? So we had the most unhealthy snacks when we were there. Because, he doesn't get much, so we have to just have the most unhealthy things. To be fair, it was some chocolate bars, which some of them was relatively healthy, like it was more protein chocolate bars, and some Wotsits. So basically crisps, things like that, and water is healthy, and some juice and stuff like that. So the rest of stuff is still restricted and banned. I can't really get him anything proper food, so we were unable to do that. So unfortunately that was not allowed. Ivan says, hypothetically, might this civil offender get an early release and torture? So you might very well think that. I couldn't possibly comment, Ivan, but we shall wait to see the legal challenge. Specifically from Sandra, thank you very much. Although some of these things, actually, he wanted me to mention it, but I thought it's probably best not to, even though he still requested me to say what's going to happen, what is happening in the next few weeks. But his team might still post it on his account on X, but I thought it's still probably not my place to get involved with the legal challenge stuff. So we'll just wait for that process to kind of conclude. Kathleen says, hang in there, Tommy. Yep. Let's get some non-super chats from you guys. Tony says, we love you, Tommy. Our hearts are with you. Remember, Jesus was in the desert for 40 days. The only difference is that this time, Starmer is the devil. But we, your disciples, are always here in spirit. That kind of, I mean, I love Tommy, but it's kind of reminding me of the fight between Rupert Lowe and Nigel Farage yesterday and today. It's just kind of messy. Saying that Nigel has Messiah complex or whatever. Calling Tommy's followers disciples might be a little bit too much, but obviously I appreciate the sentiment. The psycho that took those innocent little girls' lives is walking around in prison and getting visits and everything else, while Tommy is in solitary. Disgusting. Yeah, we did actually see some of the prisoners who were in the yard playing around, I don't know, basketball, whatever they were doing, and walking around, socializing with each other. It kind of puts it in perspective. I mean, for the rest of us, we're outside, we're free. But if you put yourself in the shoes of someone who's in solitary confinement every second, then you look at that cage. People were just working out and standing around talking to each other, cellmates. You're like, that is freedom. That is a level of liberty that someone in solitary confinement won't have. Who's not, by the way, a criminal convict. He's a civil offender, and those guys were actual criminal convicts. What the... Do we have a message? I just saw a comment from Danielle in the live chat. Oh yeah, the chief operating officer of Tousi TV and my fiance Danielle was supposed to post this using her own account, but she actually used the Tousi TV account to post. It's okay. I'm Maya's solicitor. Yes, of course, Danielle is also a in-house legal counsel, so we're fine. If they come for us, I'll make sure I'll demand better food than just tuna fish. Although I do like tuna fish, but if I'm in solitary confinement, I think it could kill me every day eating that nonsense. Ivan says, how come you got in? Is it because you're brown? Is it because you is brown? Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but where is the thing? Yeah. I don't think she's brown. Although she could get a nice fake tan, Sammy Woodhouse. No, I mean, we were all shocked when we found out that they gave us the approval. I think there's been a lot of backlash over the last few weeks with this whole torture treatment. And I think they thought, well, we can't really go that far. We're going to have to let some people in. And they probably thought I'm a nice boy. I cooperate. I behave. Usually I do. Then they said, well, let's bring him in. And then last minute, they told me to sign an NDA, thinking that obviously I'm going to behave. And then I said, sure, I'll sign it. And then, whoopsie. I don't know what happened. I don't remember. I just don't recall signing any documents. I do not recall. I got bad short-term memory, guys. Respect my lack of memory. Vinny says the cause is more important than the self. Go TR. Yes, that's true. And Agnes says, I think of Tommy every day. I wish him all the support and love from Scotland. Thank you so much for that, Agnes. And Frankie says, don't get yourself locked up. You have a wedding coming up. I'm sure Danielle wouldn't be happy. For the record, I did also check with our in-house legal counsel, Danielle, as my fiance as well. And yeah, it's going to happen anyways. No, the wedding will happen even if I am in Guantanamo Bay, even if they deport me to Gaza. Although the Trump Tower is coming. We could have a wedding in Trump Tower in Gaza. Why not? Change of plans. Liz from Canada says that Canadian Patriots are with you, Tommy, and the UK Patriots. Don't give up, everyone. Much love and respect here in Ontario, Canada. Thank you so much, Colonials. And Betty Boo says, it's against the ECHR, what they are doing. I'm an MH nurse, and I've done a video on X about the effect his torture will have on his CPTSD. Idiots threatening to report me to NMC. I have no regrets. So, yeah, the recent assessment by a professional doctor confirmed that he's now obviously dealing again with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And on top of that, ADHD, it's not really helping his situation. As I said, he didn't look good. It definitely looked even worse than a few months ago when I saw him. And that was, I think, probably a month into his sentence, maybe a little bit less or more. But, he still tried to look sharp at the time, but this time I could see he's not doing well. He's happy that when in that moment, that for a few minutes to speak to friends, but that's it really. He's still stuck, and there is no justice, no accountability when it comes to the current British establishment, the British state, and the British government. The way they are treating one person who is a citizen of this country, legally he's a citizen of this country, and he's not a criminal convict, he's a civil offender, it's contempt of court. He shouldn't even be in prison. Contempt of court should be at worst house arrest and a fine. Slap on the wrist, but maybe more if you want to actually make sure that person doesn't do it again, for example. Craig says that you finally get to see Tommy and you come online and tell everyone about it again. And again, you're probably going to end up being locked again. That's a lot of agains. Great. Not very bright, this fella. If you got another again, you could have put more agains. Use more against. Craig is a very, very sensitive soul. So I'm doing this because my good friend Tommy asked me nicely. He requested me to take this risk and talk about him and send out his message to everybody else. And I chose to do it to help him out. If Craig has a problem with it, get in touch with Tommy and tell him off. But you can't. Again. You didn't say again. Enough. Right. Did he say again? Ah, funny. LF says again. Say more again, guys. Gonna ban this word from the live chat. What a horrible, maddening situation in the UK where Satanists that push Sharia law, or Sharia, are using the freedoms and laws of your own country to enslave you. Exodus to the United States. Barry says, Maya, did you meet Tommy in the main hall with the lines of fixed seats, or was it in one of the secluded rooms? So hypothetically, in this situation, if you see a civil offender in solitary confinement, now it will be in a tiny room, just you and him, not in the main visiting area thing, which kind of is good because that's kind of more privacy, but it's also very depressing. And you're there, and then the two of the security will have to also sit right next to you. They're just listening to everything you say, which is also a little bit awkward and uncomfortable, but it is what it is. Although it doesn't really stop people like us from being politically incorrect, even in front of the prison guard. So there were a lot of things that could get everybody cancelled. Things were mentioned about gingers. Oh yes, gingers were mentioned because, as I say, he has a ginger jihadi beard now, which again his mother would not be happy. I said it to him. Cynthia says, claim you suffer from KSDS, Keir-Starmer derangement syndrome, if you're questioned. Should we just make that a legal thing? Why not? Ivan says, Craig is at it again. Who is this Craig? It's all right. I think he means well. He's just worried, I guess, right? He really cares about me. So Aurora says, Maya, you have 7,000 more viewers than BBC Two. Well, we're currently on 9,000, although only 2,500 of you clicked like. Come on, guys. The thing about the support from the outside for Tommy, just a quick addition to the report, is that a lot of things haven't been able to be mentioned to you guys and to the supporters and everybody else. But as I said earlier, including the support from Elon Musk and his legal team, it's been there. It's behind closed doors. Just because somebody's not posting constantly on social media doesn't mean the support isn't there, for example. So those things are there, and there are big plans as well for when he's out. And I did discuss some of the stuff with him in terms of what we should do to help him with everything, the whole operation, the whole movement, the whole branding, and he's got good people behind him anyway. And there's going to be even a more efficient way of doing things to actually spread the word, let's just say. The fight for Britannia. And basically anybody around the world who believes in life and freedom. Barbara, thank you, saying Craig needs to stop being smart again. You said again. You can't say again. It's banned. You have not said anything wrong. Just stated your observations. Yeah, but he's worried I'm going to get jailed. But it's on me. I took the responsibility. We love you here in the US. We love you guys too. What's this? There's a lot of comments about Muhammad for some reason. Free bacon for Narnia. Yep. It is Ramadan, so free bacon for everyone. Is this clickbait? Well, you did click on it, so I don't know. Just listen to what I'm saying, and you can decide if it's clickbait or not. Imagine clicking on a video, and before you actually start watching and listening, you just, guys, what's happening here? Andrew says, Maya, look at those likes now. Oh, yes. Oh, 3,300. We're getting there, guys. Come on. Let's get to 6666. That didn't work out. Anyway, But yes, the support is there. I can see more comments saying again, which is not good. What is this? Danny says ADHD is a disability and he's been tortured, and all because, well, it's a condition, but yeah. And all because he was telling the truth. He's been locked up just for being a decent father and trying to protect the innocent modern day. Jesus Christ. He's still extremely worried about his kids. Obviously, I can't really give any information about his family in terms of where the kids are, what they're doing, but they definitely, his worry is that, he wakes up after having nightmares about his kids, and it's that it was a little bit. I mean, at first you go in, you do your chit chat, and bit of small talk, bit of joke, then you continue the conversation. You sit around, and you can feel from his body language, from his face, from the way he talks, that he's a fighter, but the impact of this mental torture treatment has definitely gotten to him. And considering that the professional assessment was the complex, PTSD is basically accelerated, you unfortunately, you can't cure that. That's not treatable. A standard PTSD, over time can be cured, but when it's complex, it's permanent. It's there with you, and it could come back at any moment if it gets, if the trigger is there. But yeah, ADHD is a condition, not really a disability. And there are a lot of people. I'm ADHD leaning, and I seem fine. So I'm just always hyper, and also just forget what I was saying. So because I can't pay attention to details. That's why we have Danielle as the chief operating officer. So she does the details. I do the ranting, and it works. Now, where are we with the? There we go. They knew they couldn't shut him up, so they jailed him, and solitary is how they intend to destroy him mentally. I think there's also an element of sending a message to the outside world that we are powerful as a state, that we can shut you down, and your message, and not just with him, but to the rest of you guys, everybody, that we can prevent you from succeeding. That's what they're trying to say. There's if you do something that we don't like, we have these powers, and we're still going to get away with it because we're still going to tell the media that we have a liberal democracy. I mean, we're still going to tell the world we have the rule of law, but actually we don't, because they're going to find loopholes to create oppression. And the message is there is to prevent the future Tommy Robinsons from rising up. Ironically, as we've been saying repeatedly over the last few years, Tommy Robinson was a product of these guys, by the establishment. They created him, not on purpose, but by their lack of action and their complicity. He shouldn't even exist. Well, as a person he should, but his entity as an activist, as a journalist, there shouldn't be a need for a Tommy Robinson or even a Tousi TV in a society that actually the establishment do their job and the mainstream media do their job properly. But their actions created him, and the need for someone like him, even though he's an imperfect person and character like the rest of us, and his followers and supporters know that, and they still accept him because they know it's about the bigger picture. And when the establishment think that, well, we're just going to do this to also send a message to everybody else who would like to do similar things like Tommy, you are actually, it's counterproductive. You're going to create the Frankenstein monster yourself. This is not how you calm things down. You fix the problems if you want to calm things down. Listen to the concerns of the public. Fix them, then there wouldn't be any backlash. Especially when it comes to the British culture. The British culture is not a revolutionary culture. They want to keep their head down. They want to be polite. They want the authorities and establishment to listen to their concerns when needed and fix the problems when needed and make change when it's needed. And it's worked out pretty well for a long time. Now it's changing because British culture and even English identity and Welsh identity and everything else have been undermined. Teachers in schools can't even define what the British culture actually is, what the identity is about. They don't even want to defend it, let alone promote it. That's why there's a breakdown between the state, the establishment, and the people. But instead of fixing it, they're just going to attack the people. The husband says, did you pass the messages on to his children and ex again? Did you just put again on purpose? Yes, we've communicated with his people. His people. With his people. Ivan says, CPTSD is a life sentence. So wrong. Yeah, you will now have it forever. That's the problem with it. David says they are treating Tommy like a Hamas hostage. Like Hamas. Hamas can't be hostage. I think you mean Israeli hostages by Hamas, but yeah, basically. Aaron says, insane out-of-box idea. Get Trump to try get him to get Tommy extradited to the US, just like they tried for Assange. But there was a reason they could do with Assange, or appoint as a diplomatic staff. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I can't give you guys information on the future, but there will be big things soon. Richard says there he's a government hostage in the Woodhill tunnels, effectively. Yeah, exactly. On that note, the members of YouTube, not Tousi TV Plus, because I keep telling you guys to join Tousi TV Plus, which is on the website, tousi.tv, but some of you have joined YouTube, which I still appreciate. It's generous of you guys, but you guys don't get much. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a exclusive, one-off, live Q&A with you guys, which is today at 9 p.m. UK time, which is in about 29 minutes. It's about half an hour. If you're a member of YouTube, the moment this ends, refresh the page, go on the community tab. There will be a new schedule live stream for you guys. And just a heads up, I'm going to be using that live stream, the live Q&A, to convert you from YouTube member to Tousi TV Plus member, which is on tousi.tv. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tousi, and we are the media.